talked about tools, teaming, and collaboration. Could we dig into specific concrete examples of each of those three, particularly so that I can distinguish teaming from collaboration better? Because in my mind, those still seem a little bit blurred.
Well, the difference between tooling and teaming. Tooling, you're more efficient at your current workflow. Teaming, you're leveraging data and more advanced models, and they are taking parts of the workflow over. So that means your workflow is different. Now you're using this data tool, this data product, or this model supported product, and it changes your workflow. So that's really the critical component of this. I use McDonald's drive-through is an absolutely wonderful example of just the basics of human machine teaming. If your customer comes through the drive-through, now they've got these video screens instead of the regular plastic old menus that they used to have. They didn't change it so that they could throw data at you as a customer. But once they did, they realized, oh, you know what? We don't have to just put a menu on this. We can start recommending stuff to customers. And now this is really a human machine teaming paradigm because I'm changing my customer's workflow. Instead of them having to scan through the menu to see what else they might want, I'm introducing data into their workflow. And now the model itself is a teammate. It's helping them order. If the model has loyalty data about them, it may know what they're most likely to order and just show them that off to the corner of the screen. If they forgot to order a coffee, and they normally do, they can recommend it. And this has benefits for both sides. It's easier as a customer to make your order, and it's easier for McDonald's in this case to maximize order totals and in some cases even increase margins. So I've introduced it as a tool, but I'm not taking any autonomy away from the customer. The customer is still in complete control of that workflow. Whereas if they are turning to an application and instead of them ordering and going through everything, they were to turn that over to the application and they just showed up and whatever the application ordered for them is what they picked up. No one would do that. Why? Because the reliability requirements are so much higher. And you couldn't have a model in that case take over autonomy. Our models aren't accurate enough. We can't predict people that well yet. So we can meet the functional requirement, but we don't make that next step to it becoming a collaborator where it takes over some of the autonomy. And so that would be the difference is if we threw an application, because now we do have the McDonald's app. In America, man, we are good at getting people fat. So through this application, if we took over ordering from you, that would be collaboration. But like I said, functionally, it works. Reliability wise, it wouldn't. No one would just trust the application to know what it wanted. We're just not there yet. And so there are limited numbers of applications where the model is reliable enough to turn over some of that autonomy. And you can see this in autonomous driving too. We don't trust the vehicle 100%. Well, okay. Some people do, and it usually ends badly on TMZ, but most people don't trust their cars. Yeah, but you do hear the odd story of somebody getting in the back seat and making a sandwich, which doesn't make any sense, but they do it. So we're just not quite there yet, even though we do now have some autonomous taxis operating in San Francisco. There are tons of them in China. So we have these, and we're slowly making the transition in those use cases from human machine teaming, which is the level two, I think it's level two, level three autonomous, all the way to the level 4 and level 5 autonomous, which is human machine collaboration, where we begin to take our hands off completely and let the car drive. And so that's tooling, teaming, collaboration. That's why I say we have to have two different types of requirements now in order to understand what model and what level of reliability the model needs to function at. It's almost if it was a content filter, how offensive are you okay with this being? What level of sense of humor would you like GPT to have in this session with you? And so you can hear there's different levels of potentially personalization that will come out because I would like GPT-4 to be a little cheeky with me from time to time, but
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, not everyone will.